Welcome back to the My Pro Golfer channel. Today we've got a special episode of how to play golf, and we're going to focus today on lesson regularity. And our focus is going to be based on your budget and your productivity level. How often should you be getting a golf instruction lesson with your golf instructor? Hey, thanks for watching today's episode. Here at My Pro Golfer, you know we like to keep things simple. And today, I've got a special gift for you to help you never miss a 5-foot putt again. Click the link below and download today. All right, so as you can see here, I'm standing on the driving range at Summerfield Crossings Golf Club, and there's probably 20 or 30 people behind me working on their games. And all of them should have some concept of what they're trying to do. If they're out there and they're working on something specific in their swing, then they are practicing. If they have no idea what they're working on, then they are exercising. And it's a completely different scenario if you're actually working with a golf instructor. So first and foremost, if you can afford it and you can come and see me every day, we'll get really good really fast, because everything that we teach in the olive tree method builds on itself. So if you're looking at the logo here, I want to teach everybody that stump, which is 4 steps: setup, turn, impact, and finish. And when you learn those 4 things, then you're hitting the ball pretty solidly on a regular basis. And then we start to work on grip and path as step 5 and 6. And then that really helps you evaluate, am I moving the ball the way that I want to based on my swing without too much effort? And if you're doing that, then you're in a pretty dynamic area to practice. And so short game is the next phase. Like learning to hit shots and move the ball around the greens is really almost somewhat personal. So I would have less time, and if you're in that phase of what your golf ball is doing 95% of the time in the air when you're swinging, then you want to focus on short game. And so if you're focusing on short game, lesson regularity is not that important. It is important to understand shots and concepts, but in the olive tree method, if you're in step 5 or 6, that means you've somewhat mastered step 1, which is the key to getting yourself built in the position to hit the shot. And then impact in step 3 is very similar to how it is on the short game area. And so if you're struggling with hitting a short game shot, that's the time to grab a golf lesson. Is say, oh man, I'm really struggling out of the bunker, or I can't hit the soft flop shot over the bunker. Then get some help, get some instruction in that. Otherwise, really learn your game, really learn the process. If you're already swinging well, that's the next step on this episode of lesson regularity. All right, so that's pretty good there. So you can see that the body movements are working correctly, and I'm in a pretty good spot with my golf swing. And so obviously, if you can afford it, the best way to get better is to come out here every day, get a golf lesson, and let's take you as far as you want to go. But not everybody has that budget, nor should you necessarily come out and do that as often as that. But there's some really specific keys that I want you to think about based on what you're working on. So if you already have some concepts of what you're working on and you've got a process that you're going into, the 2 areas where you want to get the next golf lesson is when your body starts to feel like I've got it, and you can kind of see the ball flight and the way that you're trying to get the ball to work, then you're like, okay, let's get into that next step if you're on that process. And then the next piece of that is like, I'm totally lost. I don't have any idea what I'm doing with my golf swing. Don't wait. Don't try to figure it out, because your golf instructor, specifically myself, we're going to be able to tweak that really quickly, and your light bulb will kind of go on and like, oh, that's the one thing that I was missing. Because when you change a habit, when your body's used to doing this and we took getting you to do that, like that's a huge change for the mind. And you're oftentimes kind of stuck in between, which technically is worse for you because you're not getting the advantage of the movement patterns being exactly what we wanted, and you're not comfortable because you're not where you used to be. And so if you're stuck in that middle ground, you got to get off the couch. Don't be upset about it. Go get a golf lesson, spend the money, get that done quickly, because the worst thing you could do is leave the range frustrated. You want to have the process developed and mapped out so that you take advantage of the time that you have out here working on your game. All right, so you can see my body. I've got plans when I'm practicing, right? I've got my elbow going out. I'm working on that, making sure that I push down on my foot. And if I feel like I'm doing that and I'm getting the ball flight and contact out of that shot, then I'm on my way, and I know I don't need to call the golf instructor who I work with on a regular basis to work on these moves. As long as the ball is coming out where I want it to, then that means we're controlling the ball flight and we're seeing what we want to see. And so all we need to do is to keep rehearsing that. We got to keep moving through that process. But I'm a golf pro. I've been around golf a long time. You know, I got all these students down here. Actually, Austin's right here. Austin, come on over real quick. Austin and I just started working together this year, and he's come a long way. He actually plays for Sumner's golf team now, and you weren't playing with him before, right? This was pretty new for you?
Yeah, this is the first year I've been playing golf,
okay. So Austin and I started working, what, 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, it was May.
Okay, and so how many lessons did you feel like it took for you to get kind of comfortable, and what was our regularity when we did that?
Well, at first we were meeting about every week.
Okay, that's right.
Normally about Thursday, and then we may miss 2, but about 5 to 6 lessons I was feeling pretty good about my swing. I thought the fundamentals were down. 1 and 2 were, the first 2 weeks were probably the hardest because you're changing, and then after that you could really dive into more of the detail, and I thought that after about 6 I was feeling really good and able to tweak if I had to, and then come back for a regular checkup.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's right up the alley. So olive tree method, Austin went through it, step 1 through 4, and then 2 probably to recap that and make sure that your feels were what we were seeing on video. And so we mapped out his swing, and you can go back on his camera on his phone and just go back and watch the videos change over time. And now you're playing great golf, and I'm really excited about. He's in the middle of the golf season right now. We're not working hard on stuff right now. We're just letting him play. But in November, when he's done, we're going to get back to it so that next year he can play golf on his golf team shooting under par. That's going to be our focus.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Hey, just want to remind you to not forget on getting your free gift below on how to never miss a 5-foot putt.
Well, I want to thank you all for watching today's episode on how to play golf. It is a pleasure to be able to teach the people that are here at Summerfield Crossings Golf Club, and all of you online that take lessons from me around the globe, and for all of you that travel with me and go play these amazing destinations that we get to play and just learn this great game that is with you for a lifetime. There are people down there that I teach that are in their 80s, and then people as young as Austin who's 16, 17 years old. So the system works, the process works, but you got to work hard. You got to put the time in, you got to put the effort in. Create a plan for your lesson so that you know exactly what you're planning on getting out of it, and know the regularity that you should go so that you book it ahead of time so that you can commit to the steps that you want to get to before the end of the season. I want to encourage you. If you like this video, like it. If you like it, subscribe. We'll see you next Thursday at 6 a.m.